All right. Hey, guys. So, what we're going to do is a quick just look at Bitcoin. One thing that we've been saying for a few weeks now is patience, patience, patience will make you the most amount of money. As you've hopefully seen in the alerts that Rocky and I have been doing for the past month now. Rocky you're still riding most of this position, right? What was your entry order on this?
About 1970.
So Rocky nailed the bottom at 1970, and this was the dip that I was saying in between 2,500, and then finally also the third high probability area was the breakout above 3,000. So really there were three great opportunities to get in on this breakout. And one thing is that we use for our main profit target is the Fibonacci extension. So if we take a look at that, our first main target was up here around 4,000. This was really the what we looked at as kind of the first zone where price could get rejected from, but you can see we basically blasted right through 4,000, went up to about 44, almost 4,500, and then we've seen a little bit of selling 2 days ago, and then that's where I did the alert yesterday showing the potential head and shoulders here, and basically 5 minutes or less after I was showing the potential for that, we got a $200 hourly candle. So check this out, guys. Literally within less than an hour, we went from about 4,100 up over 4,300. So that was absolutely a squeeze. And so that's why, I always look at potentials on both sides of the market. You never want to be just one-sided where you're like, oh, I see a head and shoulders, therefore the market's going to reverse here. The other potential that we were talking about was an ascending triangle for another breakout. And so you can see right now, we got a little bit of actually a fake out breakout here on the hourly where you can see we kind of peaked up and then had a reversal candle here right under 4,500, and then it's stabbing back down. So this is kind of the risk of breakout patterns whenever you're up a ton. Again, if you really need to keep in mind and keep in context where the market has actually come from. And the reality is that the market has over doubled in the past month. So if we just take a look at like a price range, you can see from the low here on 7/16, so just over a month ago, up to the high here, it's almost 150% gain. So Rocky, congrats on your entry, man. That was awesome. Mine were a little bit higher than that, but no matter where you got in, risk to reward here is just really, really incredible. But when the market is up 150% in the past month, if you're looking at potential breakouts, the higher you get, typically the more fake out intraday fake out breakouts you start to get. So you can see back here, there was another 1, 2, 3, 4 breakout pattern, and it went up for a little bit, from 4190 up to 4,400. So on a dollar and even a percentage basis, that's decent. But the point of this, guys, and what I'm showing you here on the intraday chart is that when the market is up a ton, if the higher your cost basis is, if you're buying breakouts and riding the trend, that's great. But the longer the trend goes for, the more, I guess, just conservative you should be with exits, meaning, scale out. So the way that I like to trade, and everybody's a little bit different, but I really love scaling out of trades, meaning I'll take partial profits. So for example, the first time we went up and over 4,000, I closed about a quarter of the trade. And then on this dump and pulled back, I closed another quarter. So I'm still riding roughly 40 or 50% of that original breakout. But I don't know. Nobody knows exactly where the top in a market's going to be. And so instead of trying to be all in and all out, I typically am scaling in. Rocky, do you want to kind of give your style or your opinion on kind of how you manage risk on exits like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I definitely agree that scaling out is a good approach to taking profit. And I did the same thing around the 4,000 area, and I've scaled out about 40% of my trade. So I've got about 60 riding in case we tag 5,000. And even if we tag 5,000, you know, I'd probably close out another half of that. But I likely keep an extra 30% running just in case, because you never know, right? You know, if you look back to like 2013, you know, I'm sure a lot of traders got shaken out really early, you know, and there's even some big corrections and such. So really, it's all about learn how to trend ride and be patient, you know. I mean, if you're day trading and scalping certain types of market conditions, that's one thing. I use scalping as a means to an end at certain key points in the market's dumping just to add more Bitcoin to my spot holdings. But for the most part, with Bitcoin and even altcoins, you know, trend riding is your best friend. I mean, get a good entry, you know, whether you buy the initial dip or whether you buy the secondary dip after confirmation that it's making a move with volume and momentum. Just learn to be patient and don't get too fidgety. This is the number one thing that really traps traders. You know, they just fidget too much, or they hesitate too much, the paralysis by analysis. Or they treat the markets like a coin toss, like you're just flipping a coin, all in, all out, you know, and then you're all out, and then you have to buy in higher because it breaks out higher. Now your cost basis is higher in your new trade. Now if it, you know, we're in a parabolic market, so if it dumps, when it dumps, it's gonna be a doozy, right? It's gonna be a really big, nasty correction, which, you know, if you're okay with trading blood, that'll be good as well. So yeah, definitely I agree with the strategy of incrementally scaling out. And I bet you trend riders are probably outperforming people who just try to overtrade all that smaller noise.
100%, 100%. I mean, you know, Rocky and I were just kind of talking about this idea of like being lazy in the markets. Like so many people think they have to like work really, really hard and do a whole lot, take so much action and trade and, you know, place orders here. And it's like, but really you know, my motto is like trade less, profit more, right? Like if all you do is catch the bigger moves and ignore the noise, you're going to be less stressed out. You're going to ultimately make more money, and I think you'll be happier. So like, that's kind of my message, is do less and make more. Well, let's just try to get through some altcoins, and then we can wrap up the video and then do some Q&A. So you want to take a look at Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I'll let you pull that up.
All right. So Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Sorry, where is it?
So,
oh, there it is.
Yeah, I need to save those on this account. There you go.
All right, so now obviously you can see on the dollar chart it's getting some love, right? It's gone up.
Yeah.
We had a move recently dollar wise, and I didn't take profit on that, and I'm pretty much trading Bitcoin Cash BTC H chart, so the BTC chart, right? So I bought down here, and I sent out a trade alert down here, and the reason why I didn't take profit, even though I was up a double, is because I'd made a determination in my mind. I had some higher targets, and I made a determination that I was going to trend ride, and if that means having to weather some storms, then, you know, that's what I did, right? And also, you know, the biggest play in altcoins is really patience. Oftentimes they'll get their turn, right? They'll get their moment to shine. So this is a good sign. The fact that Bitcoin has gone up and we had some volume and a nice green candle here after this retracement, you know, that's a good sign that happened. So I'm still holding, And if you just look at the dollar charts, technically the price is higher than where it was if I had actually taken profit dollar-wise, right? Not Bitcoin-wise, but dollar-wise. It's actually higher right now. So let's just look at the Bitrex charts on that, because there's even more price action to base it on. So over on Bitrex, it's actually gone up quite a bit. Right, you can see on this hourly, like that's quite the candle. Look at the volume here on Bitrex. So here's an example of patience, and you know, most bad trades that traders will make, most money that's lost is actually just because of their own internal mental mechanism, you know, their own internal sabotaging it. Right, so you could have been shaken out of this. You know, imagine if you held and you got shaken out and you just, you know, rage quit and sold down here, and next thing you know, it did this, right? Boom, right up back into this area. So it's consolidating, right? It's creating a consolidation pattern, and that's also one of the reasons why I like to buy it really low in the gutter. And you know, what I was seeing there was just that same typical pattern. Right, this kind of descending trend line and then some sideways accumulation, right? I mean, this is pretty much like my go-to pattern for a lot of altcoins, especially if they're liquid, because they often start off like this and then they crash, and you want to wait till they start to establish a floor. So that's Bitcoin Cash, and I'm still gonna ride it. You know, I've got some orders stacked up. I set some limit orders, like up here and up in the 2s, and even just in case a little bit of ammo up in the 3s. So that'll be a very, very profitable trade if it hits those targets. Another market that I'm in that started to get a little bit of love today was BAT. Right, it's still well within a consolidation range, but it had about $20 million in trading volume today, which is very interesting. So notice how these coins started to make moves even though Bitcoin's going up, right? So we're starting to see some energy and attention going into altcoins, right? So you can see here the exact same type of pattern, descending trend line. And so there you go. Sideways accumulation, lots of volume coming in there. So you know, this is actually record-breaking volume for BAT. It is actually. It's record-breaking volume, and we started to see it right here, right? Also, you know, the fundamentals I feel are fairly strong on this, so it's definitely just a patience game. And so dollar-wise, I think that's up about 40% today. And RLC also, again, some nice volume coming in, and starting to make a move. Now it could still chop around. So it's just a patience play, right? It's just a patience play. Really, this all comes down to emotional and mental conditioning, to have the patience to be able to weather the storms and ride positions until they become profitable. And you obviously have to position size, right? If your size is too big to the point where you're sweating bullets and getting tick lock, then you really need to reduce your position size, right? So that's the key, right? Is to not go YOLO, and that'll help you cultivate mental perseverance and patience for your trades. So that's pretty much it for the markets that I want to look at today. Just some of the ones that are gaining some energy. And I'm not going for small gains either. I'm going for much bigger gains. You know, it's got to be like hundreds of percent essentially in these types of markets.
Bigger gains. I love it. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and open it for questions. We're going to stop this video.